Hey, Michael Church, Crawl Space Ninja, and we completed the crawl space. So I want you guys to come with me. We're going to take you on a little tour of a Crawl Space Ninja encapsulated crawl space. And if you didn't get a chance to see the pre-inspection video where we showed what our competition does in an encapsulation, and this way you can compare that encapsulation with our encapsulation. So come on with us. Here's the crawl space door. As you can see, we brought the plastic up, mechanically attached it to the frame. We actually had to rebuild the frame of the door in order to properly air seal it. We got our weather stripping right here. We got our foam board to insulate it, and this way it'll close and air seal real well. We also have the Wi-Fi remote right here up above, and so that way they can control the dehumidifier with that, but the door turned out really nice. Before, they had the Advanced 2 dehumidifier sitting right here, so we wound up moving it probably 20 feet in that direction, so that way air circulation is better throughout the crawl space. I don't know if you remember, but they had the air blowing at this duct and at this wall, so the dry air really had nowhere to go. So this way you got a lot more traffic. In case you need to get back in here, you can go into the main part of the crawl space this way, and it's not restrictive either in movement or in dry air. If you're putting in a dehumidifier, make sure to put it in an open space, so that way it's better for the crawl space to dry everything out. Okay, so I don't know if you remember this spot here, but there used to be a bunch of insulation up here, and there was these striations going all through the wood from a wood rot fungus that had set in, and you can see soda blasting is extremely powerful and was able to strip almost all of it off, but some of it is so embedded deep into the wood that it just couldn't get it all the striations out of it. It's still dead because we applied a disinfectant and all that sort of thing, but look at how much the soda blaster ate the wood up because of how soft the wood had become because of how long the mold had been growing on this wood. If it had continued to grow unchecked and not been killed properly, disinfected properly, this whole beam, all of these beams probably would have been so rotten that we would have had to replace them. So I think we caught it early enough, we got it killed off and disinfected properly, and now we got us a sturdy piece of wood that's going to stand the test of time. We got the pillar wrapped up real nice and everything. As you can see, we made sure we taped all the way around. We always wrap the pillars and then apply the Hilti nails down the sides of the pillars to hold it in place. And so anyway, this looks a lot nicer than what was here before. It's able to keep all of that humidity and moisture underneath the vapor barrier, which is what the vapor retarder is designed to do anyway. You're always going to have moisture escaping from the vapor retarder, which is why we have a dehumidifier, to make sure that we control that moisture as it escapes. This is actually an interior wall, and the reason why I wanted to show it to you is because you don't have to insulate this wall. This was probably for a chimney. There's a chimney up above us or fireplace up above us or something like that. So they built this big block foundation here to take that weight. So just going vapor barrier up this part just to control moisture that is around this is good enough. You don't have to insulate this. It'd be like you insulating the inside walls of your house. You wouldn't do that unless you were trying to soundproof it. So this is we get questions about that all the time, whether people should insulate the inside walls of crawl spaces or even basements. If this was a basement on the other side, then there would be no reason to insulate because they're sharing the air. You always want to insulate the exterior walls only. Okay, so this is where the trench was above the ground. So as you can see, we got it underneath the ground all the way. This is the ground right here, so the trench is level with the ground. As the water comes in, we're hitting our foam board. Got our foam board behind the vapor barrier. The water comes in, hits the trench, and then makes its way to the sump pump. We wound up leaving the original sump pump in place in the front of the house, and the homeowner wanted us to add a secondary sump pump. This is a pretty large crawl space, about 3,300 square feet. So it's a good idea to have two sump pumps because that's a long way for water to have to travel to get to be able to exit the crawl space. So if you have more than a 2,000 square foot crawl space, it'd be a good idea to consider adding a secondary sump pump if you've got to go a long distance around the perimeter of the house. Here you can see that we've got our 3-inch minimum termite gap for our code here in Tennessee. In Georgia, I believe it's a 6-inch termite gap, and you want to check your local municipality to see if you require a termite gap or not. But we got our active ventilation system installed according to the EPA standards of 1 CFM for every 50 square feet of encapsulated crawl space. So you can see it installed. We make sure we mechanically attach it so that it reduces vibration, and then plug it in and just let it run. Okay, so if you remember the inspection video before, the sump pump that was installed was not level or below ground level. So what we do is we try to get the sump pump to where the lid of the sump pump is below ground level. So if for some reason you take on water on top of the plastic, it'll roll to the sump pump. And then we've got the dranger drain installed that will allow the water to go into the basin. Okay, so we've also got our dehumidifier draining into the sump pump. And the other thing that's nice is these are the jackal basins. You can take this rubber gasket off, and then if you need to check and see if there's standing water in there, you can obviously see that, but you can also check to make sure the pump is working. You never want to run the pump dry, but this pump had a little bit of water in it. We had some rain a few days ago, so it's got some water in it. It's working well. We've got everything hooked up. We've got our gasket here, so that way if we need to, for some reason, do maintenance on the pump or even change out the pump, it's a lot easier just to undo this gasket and move it up the pipe and then pull the lid and everything out. We've even got our wires going through the proper rubber gaskets here, so everything's sealed up really well except for the dranger drain, which allows moisture in but keeps gases from escaping. We got our Aprilaire 1850 running in this crawl space. Because of the size of the crawl space, we felt it necessary to put a 90-pint dehumidifier in here. As you can see, we've got the condensate pump hooked up. This is draining over to the sump pump. We run it up into a 1/2-inch PVC line. We've also got the Wi-Fi thermostat hooked up towards the door, and I took a picture of that so you can see that. So this Aprilaire is set up to where the homeowner can log into their app and check the humidity and even control the humidity via their smartphone. If they need to adjust the humidity, they can either do it on their smartphone or they can open up the door and adjust the humidity at the door instead of having to climb all the way in. The Model 76 controller does that at the door as well. So if you want to put the dehumidifier deep into the crawl space and then have the ability to control it, the Model 76 remote will do that. It doesn't have the Wi-Fi capability, but you can still control the dehumidifier from the door. If you notice over there, that was where all that debris was in the corner, so we made sure we cleaned up all the debris real good, got the vapor barrier sealed up real nice, and overlapped and taped properly like it's supposed to be. Okay, so here's the old sump pump that we wound up leaving in place. It's still able to catch groundwater. It's just, it has a hard time because it is uphill a little bit for it, and there's no gaskets, but wound up cleaning it up a bit and getting the lid properly sealed, the vapor barrier tucked underneath it. Also, I don't know if you remember, but we had to reseal all of the vents. So there's the one of our vents that we redid, took that old blue board off and sealed it, air sealed it properly. Anyway, the job turned out really well. We got our foam board insulation on here. I don't know if you remember this, but the vapor barrier wasn't properly tucked underneath the HVAC duct. So we wound up going all the way underneath, and there's a wall right there. Went underneath the HVAC duct, up the wall. So now all of the ground underneath the duct is covered with a vapor barrier. And so let us know what you think about this job. Just write us a comment down below and see if you see anything we missed in our videos or whatever. And we appreciate you guys watching, and I hope you make it a happy and blessed day. We'll see you later.